Star quality. I got it. I got this. You got it. You got it. My chart says so. Look at me go. Sun, moon, rising. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. Red lips. What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Star quality.
What's it all mean? What's it all mean?
Star quality. Woo. No, dude, really, what does it all mean? Star quality. I got it. You got it. We got it. Star quality. Star quality. Happy new moon, Star Party people. Welcome back to Star Quality. I'm your host, astrologer Stevie, and it is time to get back to the manifestation drawing board, people. It is our first new moon post eclipses. We are coming out on the other side of that really, really, really wild September. I feel like October has also been moving so fast. It feels like it was also like sped up with the September energy. Is it wild to say I'm maybe looking forward to next month's Mercury retrograde? I'm like, the positives of Mercury retrograde is that it is a time to slow down, even though it'll be in Sag and Scorpio, but more on that when that comes. But hello, my sweeties. This is our Libra New Moon episode. So we're going to get into all things about this Libra New Moon. What is the symbolism that we're working with? What messages may be coming up for us, how we can apply this to our own charts, and all things astro about this really powerful new moon that we're in. This week is also huge. We have the Libra new moon, then Neptune moves back into Pisces the following day, and then later in the evening, then we go straight into Scorpio season. So there is a lot happening. We'll get into it with the chart as well. We will still have Neptune in Aries for this lunation chart, which plays into a part of this story for what this Libra new moon has to say to us. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Star Quality is a podcast and newsletter that is 100% user supported. It is hosted through Substack, but all the podcast stuff is available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, posted on YouTube as well. There will be a first free chunk of this episode where we're going to go over all the aspects that are happening to the sun and moon. Then we'll dive into the full chart after the paywall. So if you would like to support Star Quality, please consider upgrading your subscription and joining the third space, which is what I call my subscriber sphere. So the third spacers get access to the members only chat room, to the weekly paywalled horoscopes, to any of the paywalled content, and then just my undying forever gratitude for supporting my work. So if you enjoy any of my writing or podcasts, please consider upgrading your subscription. So for buying me an iced coffee every month, you get to fuel all of these astrology musings, and I'm just really grateful for everyone that has opened their wallets and spent coins on this. So I really appreciate you. And boy, oh boy, is this a new moon that we could definitely apply to coins and currency and money and all the things that we really want to call in terms of our space of abundance or space of just our resources. Again, I don't think, because Libra is Venus connected, we talk about Taurus a lot with those Venus resources, but Libra is also definitely connected to the resources. I mean, Libra, even as the scales, it's our first inanimate, I believe only inanimate object of the zodiac. Definitely can be about our stuff. So this new moon is happening October 21st at 5:25 a.m. Pacific time, so super early morning. Just for your time zone, I'll have an image of the chart there. I'm recording a little bit after the new moon, but legend has it that we can feel that new moon energy up plus minus 2 days before and 2 days after. So if you're like, fuck, I didn't write my manifestations, I haven't either yet. So I'm going to do that literally after I'm done recording. And the moon's already in Scorpio while I'm recording because this new moon's at a really late degree of Libra. It's at 28 degrees because it's like the penultimate day of Libra season because it's about to switch over. So we're at the end of the month, end of the zodiacal month, Libra season, new moon. So yeah, don't feel like you missed the boat if you're like, fuck, I didn't write any manifestations or do anything. I guess I should say like I didn't do nothing yet. Last night I hosted a vision board party and it was so fun. I co-hosted it with my Leo goddess friend Honor, and we had this beautiful back patio space with a fireplace. It was so Libra-y. And I mean, I feel like we had like 15 people or so, and we're all like collaging with magazines and stickers and washi tape. So I did make a new moon vision board, which you're also welcome to do as well. I'll put an image to mine in the show description. And I feel like a lot of people, I told a few people if they wanted to do this, go for it. And a lot of people were like, oh, I've never heard of this. So I wanted to shout this out here. If you do end up making a little vision board or, you know, something like that. I feel like when we're sitting and picking images, a lot of the times I heard a lot of people say, oh, well, I want to make sure I'm still like working with my intention, but I just keep picking images I like. But also like picking images you like is this reflection of you and who you are. But what you can do, and I feel like this helps people feel a little more free in their vision board making, is you can write your intentions on the vision board and then stick the images over it. So like similar to like a sigil, like, you know, you're putting kind of like the hidden spell or hidden message behind the vision board and then collaging it and going from there. I also brought my money oil and my popular as fuck tincture. And so, you know, we were all using that and taking that. And then also you could do little dribbles of that on the vision board too. I mean, I was the same. I wrote a few like relatively simple like manifestations on my board and then was like, I'm just going to go with what images call to me. And then when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is actually very what house it's transiting for me. I have a Libra 0 degree IC. And so this Libra new moon, even though it's at the later degree of 28, is in my 4th house. And I found this one clipping that was like a house in the hills. And I was like, yeah. And then I feel like I just ended up making a really home centric one. And like, moving is like sort of lightly on my mind. Like there are some things I still like. I really love my place that I have now, but I also there's, you know, we always be upgrading. I want a yard. I want like a magical garden that I can broadcast astrology musings from. Would be nice. But so maybe, you know, I didn't plan to manifest connected to my house, and or maybe it is just making my home like doing the things I've wanted to do. Like I have these really tiny balconies that are kind of hard to utilize, but I wanted to grow a garden out there. So maybe this time ahead, you know, I ended up like unintentionally really channeling the house that my new moon was happening, but I didn't think too much about it. I wasn't like, well, it is in my 4th house, so I must do something about home. I ended up doing something that ended up being about home. So that can be fun too with the vision board, is not to be too like rigid. I mean, maybe, you know, some people might have an opposite view of like, no, you have to be hyper specific and whatever. I think it's because I write those sigil spells underneath. I'm like, well, I got the message covered. Now I can just embrace imagery that makes me feel happy. Also, if you don't know what a sigil in like magic, witchcraft, if you will, is I'm just going straight definition, Oxford Dictionary, whatever, is an inscribed or painted symbol considered to have magical power. So I took a sigil making class at a crystal shop out here, but it's been a while. So I'm not a pro on sigils, but I definitely think they're interesting, and I think you can definitely infuse things. So you can make your own like symbols and logos or whatever, and be like, this is my money making sigil, this is my this sigil, whatever. I should relook if I have the lesson on that class or lesson from that class and refresh myself, because it's really interesting. But even in that class was the real reminder about like that you can put those behind anything, including vision boards. You can even put like sigils or spells or writings underneath your social media posts. Like if you're making posts on Canva or Photoshop or, you know, in your own editors, you could like put a little text as a hidden layer beneath and then post and see if that does anything too for you. So, you know, we're definitely in spooky season. So like, why not throw every tool from our tool belt out at our, you know, the wishes and things we're trying to do here in this world. So yeah, let's get into this new moon. So we have this Libra new moon, and a new moon, of course, is when the sun and moon are at the same degree and minute. making that moon dark as can be. And when the moon is dark, we go into ourselves, we go into what we want. It gives us the space to think and create. It's like being in almost like a deprivation tank, right? Like it's like, hey, go alone with your thoughts and see what you want to plant. And when you're given, almost like no entertainment, where like the full moon is this big bright light of like, ooh, shiny. This is like, no shiny, nothing. So now with the nothing, what do you want to create? As I mentioned, it's our first new moon after the eclipses. So this is our first real great juicy shot at manifesting. And why we don't manifest during eclipses, it's just a little too chaotic is what legend has it. Honestly, I will take the break. Sometimes I'm like, like sometimes you're overhealed or over magicking or over whatever. And I sort of like take these times as a moment to just sort of give it up to God, let it be in the hands of the universe. It's like, okay, I don't need to sit here with my journal and my crystals. Like I'm just going to like let it be. And that's how I think of eclipse seasons. And it's just it's a few times a year. So it's, most of the time I'm really at it with my magic practice. And then, and then the eclipses, I'm like, well, let's see what happens. So this new moon is of course at 28 degrees of Libra. And there's a few interesting aspects going on. We are getting this like T-square energy from Jupiter in Cancer and also Pluto in Aquarius. So Pluto is squaring, let me just double check if it's both the sun and moon. Yeah. Pluto is squaring the sun and moon. Jupiter is squaring the sun and moon. And then who's sitting over there? Across from them, it is Chiron in opposition to the sun and moon. So a few aspects going on, all of them pretty intense. All of them are on the like lessons sort of side. First things first, let's just talk about the conjunction of the sun and moon in Libra. This is about recalibration. When we have Libra energy, about balance. I feel like I heard this last night at the vision board party, but also just in general, just so many people feeling a little frazzled, overworked, overspent, or underworked. Like there hasn't, I feel like I'm just hearing both ends, like people who are like, I need a job, I need money, I need love, it's empty. And then like some people feeling like overburdened with like overdoing it. And it was interesting just thinking about that from a Libra perspective. And again, not that balance has to be 50-50, but where if we have been feeling like, oh my God, I'm just partying every weekend, like, or I'm just doing this, I'm just doing that, where can we maybe introduce the counter, right? Doing almost like a little Ayurveda on our life, our social life, our love life. If it's just been feeling like we're dumping all the energy into one side, where can we even that out? For me, I'm doing a freelance day job right now. So mommy's tired. Mommy is working around the clock in both day job and then astrology job. I just started doing weekend retreats and workshops at Two Bunch Palms out in Desert Hot Springs. Please come book a weekend with me. I will be announcing when I am doing future weekends. So I am like every minute of my day since the eclipses, because I got this day job, freelance job, and I've been a freelancer for like a decade. September like 8th, like in the eclipse portal, and then it's just been nonstop since, which is great because my life had been kind of slow up into that point. I was, been still doing a lot, still doing astrology stuff and events and workshops and working with the Astro Twins and, I'm never not doing anything. It's just not in my chart. But now, man, yeah, like real work and time, which I am very, very grateful for. But I am not in balance. If you looked around, this is why I could not be on video. I'm like, if you looked at my office, you'd be like, this is a depressed person. The boxes, things I got to return. Well, I'm just like back on like a worker schedule. Like, and again, not to sound like privileged. When you're a freelancer, you're used to a little more like, oh, I'm just going to pop out at 2 to do this thing. And like, I feel like having all my hours accounted for, I'm just like, oh, I have to do things when everyone else is doing them. And it's, nights and weekends and it's so fucking busy. The thing in Los Angeles where I live is a lot of people are freelance. So like when you're out and about, you're like, why is no one working? Like, why is everyone here? It's because we all work strange, odd job schedules for the most part. I'm generalizing, but if you know, you know. But anyways, in the midst of all my busyness, I've just had to come to terms and be grateful and say thank you, universe, for this beautifully packed schedule with all the things I want to do. That's the other part. It's like, only say yes to what you want. I'm like, okay, I have, and now I'm still busy. And so now I'm like, okay, if I'm just going to be going at which I've been not going at 100 miles per hour. I've been going at like, for the past year, I've been going at like 40. Now I'm at 102. And if I'm at 102, then let's just pack it up also with things that restore me in the process. So like booking yoga again, because it's like, oh, I have like more income where I can go and do yoga things and this. And so also like knowing like where sometimes we have to throw resources at our problems. You know, for me, it's like, oh, like trying to cook every meal at this current schedule, having basically 2 full-time jobs is not an option. I am the taco truck's best friend right now with no judgment, because like, what is there a moral superiority over cooking your own meals or whatever, you know? Like, so I think too, like, what resource do you need to throw at your problem? As my mother always said, you either have time or money, and if you're lucky, you have both. And what do you maybe need to throw at your something that's feeling out of line, out of whack, and in order to just not be able to drop your shoulders a bit and breathe and not feel like just you're only spent. You know, if it's only going out, like, how do we bring it back in? You know, something I wrote in the weekly horoscope when I was thinking about this new moon before sitting down and really, you know, diving in, was also that square from Pluto, the square from Pluto and the square from Jupiter. The Jupiter is that reminder to not overdo it, to not overpromise, to come back to ourselves, even though Libra, of course, is a sign of others. This is still, you know, we're still looking at astrology from the perspective of us and how we go out with each other. So a big reminder from that square to Jupiter is needing some moderation. You know, Jupiter is like the expanser. The sun and moon is, you know, our identity and our internal and like all the feelings. And it's like, okay, maybe we've been overextending ourselves. And then the Pluto of it all too is that reminder of control. Like, you can only control the things you can control. The other things are not, like, we cannot control everything. The illusion of control keeps coming up in this chart too. Like, I think it all just comes back to the energy of this whole year. You know, even if when we have a quote calm astrology week, we still have like a crazy astrology year. So can it ever be that calm? So where have you been feeling, maybe you've been putting that, I'm going to control this part of my life, when it's maybe a distraction and there's actually something else. If you're actually going to put your like kind of managerial energy into it, where would you actually want to, you know, step that up? Maybe it's like all about your love life, but you really like want to get back into like a fitness routine or whatever, you know, like, again, like the Libra-ness doesn't have to be that strict about it. Coming off of Virgo season too, and the Virgo eclipses, which can be so, you know, shout out to my Virgos, but man, you know, they love to complain. They love to doom scroll and punish themselves mainly. And so coming back to like, where can we not be cops, not be, you know, have like a prison sort of mentality personally and societally, and, you know, give ourselves some room to be like, respect that like imbalance is like so fucking normal, but then also naming it and getting back to where we might feel a little more like ourselves. And let's talk about the Chiron opposition, because this also to me is really about like, where have you been maybe blaming others when it's been you? Libra is the other. Chiron in Aries is the self and the wounds and trauma of the, you know, of your past. There could be this feeling like, oh, I just keep attracting these people, or these people keep doing this, or these people. Those guys, when it's really, what do we do in this, you know? And it's not about finding blame. It's just about finding more empathy to know that we all, like, I saw a Chris Corsini video, that we're all hypocrites, you know, that we all don't know anything, that we're all just like working towards what we can work towards. I saw this awesome bumper sticker yesterday when I was on the way to the vision boards, and it was so fucking Libra. I wonder if this is like a real quote from somebody, but it was a bumper sticker that said, and these are all in question marks, like questions. Oh, I just got a text from a friend that something on her vision board that she made last night has already come true. So that's pretty wild. It was about something her like landlord fixing their apartment has like already happened this morning. So get your manifesting going. But this was the bumper sticker. It said, and I'll put this in the image in the Substack post. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Let's roll that back. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? These are questions to maybe ask yourself before doing whatever the fuck you about to do. Okay, of course, it's a Rumi quote because, like, classic. But is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And I'll throw in a fourth one for Rumi. Is it you? Is this a you thing? Again, Libra New Moon would typically really be about this other, but this Chiron, this pushback from Jupiter, which is a social planet connected to Cancer and this group of family. Again, this could be also some family boundaries as well. You know, like maybe some people have been stepping a line or talking to you in a certain way or whatever. This could be, I mean, I think as long as Jupiter is in Cancer and making rough aspects, we're going to see, oh my God, Jupiter has so many aspects going to it. We're going to get into that after the paywall because wow, there's a lot of Jupiter aspects going on. A lot. And it's also getting squared from Chiron. We'll talk about it. Like, shout out to our inner child who's wounded, but also grow up. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about it after the paywall. Or I should say, we'll talk about it in the third space. That's a little cuter. So yeah, I think this Libra New Moon, of course, is really about what do you want in your relationships? What do you want for your money? What do you want outside of what anyone else thinks that you should want? And also coming back in of like where have you've maybe been not showing up as much as you could for yourself or maybe blaming others. Like there really is this like responsibility that is feeling. And, you know, Libra is about justice and fairness and the rules and whatever, not in like a Saturn way, but in a more like, well, this makes everything equal. So yeah, let's keep this conversation going with the rest of the chart and we'll move to that Jupiter action as well, which is, oh my God, we've been in this Mercury-Mars conjunction, which have you been in any conflict, y'all? Because if you've gotten out without any tension or popping off or whatever, congratulations. I don't think that's everyone's experience right now, but we're going to talk about this on the other side. Thank you so much for listening to this section of Star Quality. I hope you have a wonderful Libra New Moon. I'm going to get into the rest of this Libra New Moon chart. Oh my God, talking about Neptune and Aries, which is about to retrograde backwards. There's still a lot to cover. There's also free trials. If you want a free trial, there's a 7-day free trial. It's in the subscription thing. You can find it in the show notes. And I will see my third spacers on the other side.